Good morning, everyone. Bright and shiny early morning this Saturday, July 26th. We're going over the book, The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And I'm getting it up on my screen here in just a moment, and we'll be able to start from there. Let me get the right screen. For some reason, it's not showing up. Just a moment. This one. Right. Let's see if that'll work. One moment. Hmm. Hmm. Entire screens. All right, let's just start with this one. Yes, got it. Thank you very much for your patience. All right. Very good. All right, starting with Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, Chapter 4, Three Kinds of Business Systems. Your goal is to own a system and have people work that system for you. In moving in moving to the B quadrant, remember that your goal is to own a system and to have people work that system for you. You can develop the business systems yourself, or you can look for a system to purchase. Think of a system as a bridge that will allow you to cross safely from the left side of the cash flow quadrant to the right side. It's your bridge to financial freedom. And we'll go over the cash flow quadrant. If you're not familiar with it, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we'll go over the different sides in a few minutes. There are three main types of business systems commonly used today. They are the traditional C corporations, where you develop your own system, franchises, where you buy an existing system, and network marketing, where you buy into and become part of an existing system. Each business system has its strengths and weaknesses, yet each ultimately does the same thing. If operated properly, each system will provide a steady stream of income without much physical effort on the part of the owner once it's up and running. The problem is getting it up and running. In 1985, when people asked him and me why we were homeless, we simply said we're building a business system. It was a business system that was a hybrid of the traditional C corporation and a franchise. And just as a framework, really quickly, there is sole proprietorship business, there's a partnership, there's a limited liability corporation, and there's a C corporation. And a C corporation is a different style of business ownership. Quickly there. Oh, okay. Our decision to develop our own system meant a lot of hard work. I'd taken this route before and my company failed. He had a nylon Velcro wallet company back in the day, like in this is like in the 80s when it was a fad. Although it was successful for years, it suddenly went broke in its fifth year. When success came to us, we weren't ready with an adequate system. Our system began to break down even though we had hardworking people. We felt like we were on a good-sized yacht and had sprung a leak in a location we could not determine. Who hasn't felt like they have everything going and all of a sudden something comes up and it's something that they can't identify, none of their specialists can find, yet they know that they're losing ground and things are going down like the ship. You may lose two or three companies. When I was in high school, my rich dad told me and Mike or Mike and me, that he had nearly lost a company when he was in his 20s. That was the best and worst experience of my life, he said. As much as I hated it, I learned more by repairing it, and eventually turning it into a huge success. Knowing that I was contemplating starting my own company, Rich Dad said to me, "You may lose two or three companies before you build a successful one that lasts." And here he also says that failure is the best teacher. Success just kind of goes along, but failure is definitely, and fixing that failure is the most instructive, the most learning experience he's went through. He was training Mike to take over his empire, but because my dad was a government employee, I wasn't going to inherit an empire. I had to build my own. Success is a poor teacher. Success is a poor teacher, Rich Dad always said. We learn the most about ourselves when we fail. So don't be afraid of failing. Failing is part of the process of success. You can't have success without failure. And one of the interesting things about the human being is failure is psychologically and instinctually, failure can mean like death. So unfortunately, people avoid failure to stay safe, but it's one of the greatest teachers. So it's kind of like one of those loops that can get people stuck. Maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy but in 1984, my third company went down. I had made millions and lost millions and was starting all over again when I met Kim. The reason I know she didn't marry me for my money is because I didn't have any money. When I told her what I was going to do, build a company number four, she didn't back away because she's a very smart woman. She's a smart businesswoman for sure. So she thinks business. "I'll build it with you," was her reply, and she was true to her word. Along with another partner, we built a business system with 11 offices worldwide that generated income regardless of whether we worked or not. Building it from nothing to 11 offices took 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, but it worked. Both dads were happy for me and sincerely congratulated me. The hard part. Mike often said to me, "I'll never know if I can do what you or my dad did. The system was handed to me. All I had to do was to learn how to run it." I'm certain he could have developed his own successful system because he learned well from his dad, but I understand his doubt. The hard thing about building a company from scratch is that you have two big variables, the system and the people building the system. If both the people and the system are leaky, the chances for failure are great. Sometimes it's hard to know whether the problem is the person or the system that's failing. Before franchises, when my rich dad began reaching out to me, when my rich dad began teaching me about becoming a B, there was only one kind of business, big business, a major corporation that usually dominated the town. In our town in Hawaii, it was the sugar plantation that controlled virtually everything, including other big businesses. So there were big businesses and mom and pop type, S type businesses with little in between. Working at the top levels of those big sugar companies wasn't realistic goal for people like Rich Dad and me. Minorities such as the Japanese, Chinese, and Hawaiians worked in the field, but were never allowed in the boardroom. So Rich Dad learned everything he knew simply by trial and error. And that minority could also be education and or financial experience. That's another type of minority. If you don't have connections and people, then you're a minority. As I started high school, we began to hear about the thing called franchises, but none had come to our little town. We hadn't heard about McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or Taco Bell. They weren't part of our vocabulary while I was studying with Rich Dad. When we did hear rumors about them, we heard that they were illegal, fraudulent, scams, and dangerous. Oof. lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Rather than believe the rumors, Rich Dad flew to California to check out franchises for himself. When he returned, all he was all he said was franchises were the wave of the future, and he thought and he bought the rights to two of them. One of the things that's interesting about that idea of that they're illegal and everything is that people tend to fear something, and then the business owners that have the power like to project and can maintain that power. So they're going to muddy the waters with false information to keep their power. So that's one of the things that's been throughout history. Rich Dad's wealth skyrocketed as an idea of franchises caught on, and he began selling his rights to other people so that they could have a chance at building their own business. Excuse me, I see what my when I asked him if I should buy one from him, he simply said, "No, you've come this far in learning how to build your own business system. Don't stop now. Franchises are for people who don't want to build or don't know how to build their own system. Besides, you don't have the $250,000 it takes to buy a franchise from me." And by the way, back in, I believe, the 70s or 60s, that was like probably more like a million. That's how much our money has eroded from that time. It's hard to imagine today a city without a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Pizza Hut on every corner. Yet there was a time not too long ago when they didn't even exist. How to learn to become a bee. The way I learned to become a bee was by being an apprentice to my rich dad. His son and I were both E's learning to be bees. And by the way, that is the path for 99% of us. And that is the way many people learn. It's called on the job training, OJT. This is the way mainly this is the way many closely held family empires are passed from generation to generation or to the next. The problem is that not too many people are privileged or lucky enough to learn the behind the scenes aspects of becoming a bee. Most corporate management training programs are just that. The company only trains you to be a manager. Few teach what it takes to be a bee. Often people get stuck in the S quadrant on their journey to the B quadrant. This happens primarily because they don't develop a strong enough system and end up becoming an integral part of the system. Successful bees develop a system that will run without their involvement. And back to the earlier story of hauling buckets or building pipelines at the beginning of this book, and go back and read it. It's an interesting and a good illustration of a S and a B and what the differences are. There are three ways you can make it to the B side quickly. Find a mentor. Number one, find a mentor. My rich dad was my mentor. A mentor is someone who has already done what you want to do and is successful at doing it. Don't find an advisor. An advisor is someone who tells you how to do it, but may not have personally done it. Most advisors are in the S quadrant. The world is filled with S's trying to tell you how to be a B or an I. My rich dad was a mentor, not an advisor. One of the biggest trips my rich dad, excuse me, one of the biggest tips my rich dad gave me was this: be careful of the advice you take. While you must keep your mind open, always be aware of the quadrant the advice is coming from. Earlier back in the book, he says, listen to people's words, and you can hear the quadrant that they're coming from by the words they say and by the how they talk. You can literally hear it. My rich dad taught me about systems and how to be a leader of people, not a manager of people. Here's the key: become a leader of people and build systems. Managers often see their subordinates as inferiors. Leaders direct people who are often smarter. Surround yourself by smarter people than you, and you'll definitely have a successful team. A traditional way of learning about systems is to get your MBA from a prestigious school and then get a fast track job that takes you up the corporate ladder. An MBA is important because you learn the basics of accounting and how the financial numbers relate to the systems of a business. Yet having an MBA doesn't mean that you're competent to run all the systems that ultimately make up a complete business system. To learn about all the systems necessary in a big company, you'll need to spend 10 to 15 years there and learn all the different aspects of the business. You should then be prepared to leave and start your own company. Working for a successful major corporation is like being paid by your mentor. And that's literally what Robert did with Rich Dad, was learn completely for those 10 or 15 years while he's growing up about business systems. Even with a mentor and or years of experience, this first method is labor intensive. Creating your own system requires a lot of trial and error, upfront legal costs, and paperwork. All of this occurs at the same time you're trying to develop your people. 2, buying a franchise. Another way to learn about business systems is to buy a franchise. When you buy a franchise, you're buying a tried and proven operating system. By buying the franchise system, instead of trying to create your own system, you can focus on developing your people. Buying the system removes one big variable when you are learning how to be a B. Many banks will loan money for a franchise, an established system, but not for a small startup business, because they recognize the importance of a system and how starting with a good system lowers their risk. A word of caution: franchises are hard for people with an S quadrant mentality who want to do their own thing. If you buy a franchise system, B and E, just do exactly what they tell you to do. Nothing is more tragic in the courtroom than the courtroom fights between franchise and franchisors. The fights happen because people who buy the system really want to do their own way, not the way the person who created the system wants to be done. If you want to do your own thing, then do it after you've mastered both systems and people. And one of our leaders, Mr. Fernando Ramirez, says systems stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. It's really amazing. My highly educated dad failed, even though he bought a famous ice cream franchise. Although the system was excellent, the business still failed. In my opinion, the franchise failed because his partners were all E's and S's who didn't know what to do when things started to go bad and didn't ask for support from the parent company. In the end, the partners fought among themselves and the business went down. They forgot that a true B is more than a system. It's also dependent on good people to operate the system. Banks don't lend money to people without systems. If a bank won't lend money to a small business without a system, why should you? Almost daily, people come to me with a business plans with the hope of raising money for their idea or their project. Most of the time, I turn them down for one main reason. The people raising the money don't know the difference between a product and a system. I've had friends ask me to invest money in developing a new music CD, and others who want me to help form a new nonprofit to change the world. As much as I might like the project, the product, or the person, I'll turn them down if they have little or no experience in creating and running a business system. Just because you can sing doesn't mean that you understand the system of marketing, financing, accounting, sales, and human resources, and the many other systems required to keep a business afloat and make it successful. For a business to survive and thrive, 100% of all of the systems must be functional and accountable. For example, an airplane is a system of systems. It takes off, and let's say the fuel system fails. There's often a crash. The human body is also a system of systems. Most of us have had a loved one die because of one of the body systems fail. The same thing happens in business. That is why building a tried and true business system isn't easy. It's the systems you forget about or don't pay attention to that cause you to crash and burn. That's why I rarely invest with an E or S who has a new product or idea. Professional investors tend to invest in proven systems with people who know how to run those systems. Basically, a business with a track record of success. If banks lend based only on tried and true systems and the person who's going to run them, then you should do the same if you want to be a smart investor. 3, get involved with network marketing, also called multi-level marketing or direct distribution systems. Just as with franchise, the U.S. legal system initially attempted to outlaw network marketing. It has been banned and restricted in some countries. Any new system or idea often goes through the period of being classified as strange or suspicious. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. At first, I also thought that network marketing was a scam. Robert Kiyosaki, well, he's an investor. He's a capitalist, so definitely he has to have proven systems. But over the years, I studied the various systems available through network marketing, watched several friends become successful at this form of B, and changed my mind. So this is a B type business. After I dropped my prejudices and began researching network marketing, I found many people who were sincerely and diligently building successful network marketing businesses. When I met these people, I saw the impact their businesses had on other people's lives and financial futures. I began truly to appreciate the value of network marketing systems. For a reasonable entry fee, often around $200, people can buy into an existing system and immediately start building their business. Due to technology advances in the computer industry, those organizations are totally automated, and the headaches of paperwork and or order processing, distribution, accounting, and follow-up are almost entirely managed by the network marketing software systems. New distributors can focus on all of their efforts on building their systems instead of worrying about the normal startup headaches of small business. One of my old friends who did more than $1 billion in real estate business, wow, in 1 year, wait, $1 billion in 1 year in real estate? That's amazing. Recently signed as a network marketing distributor and began building his business. Wow. A billionaire started a network marketing business. They must know something that we don't. I was surprised to find him so diligently building a network marketing business because he definitely didn't need the money. When I asked him why, he explained in this way: I went to school to become a CPA, and I have an MBA in finance. He did the school route. When people ask me how I became so rich, I tell them about the multi-million-dollar real estate transactions I do and the hundreds of thousands of dollars in passive income I receive each year from it. I then notice that some of them withdraw or shy away. We both know that their chances of doing a multi-million-dollar real estate investment like I do are slim to none. So I began to look for a way I could help people or help them achieve the same level of passive income I developed from real estate without going back to school for 6 years or spending 12 years investing in real estate. Time, energy, and money. He invested the time, energy, and money to do it, and now he's laying out a plan. I believe network marketing gives people the opportunity to build up passive income they need for support while they learn to become a professional investor. That is why I recommend network marketing to them. Even if they have little money, they can still invest sweat equity for 5 years and begin to generate more than enough passive income to begin investing. By developing their own business, they have the free time to learn and the capital to invest with me in my bigger deals. So being an I is time intensive and capital intensive. And what he's saying is network marketing is a way to ramp up to that. Amazing. Even if we're a billionaire trying to help people pull them up, that is definitely his path. After researching several company opportunities, my friend joined a network marketing company as a distributor and then started network marketing business with people who might someday want to invest with him. He is now doing well in his network marketing business as well as his investment business. He told me didn't I did initially because I wanted to help people find the money to invest. And now I'm getting rich from the whole new business. He has another stream of income. And definitely smart investors have multiple streams of income. Twice a month, he holds classes on Saturdays. Saturdays At the first meeting, he teaches people about business systems and people, or how to develop into a successful bee. That's the people part. Or actually, that is the systems and business part, of course, that he's talked about earlier. On the second meeting of the month, he teaches them about financial literacy and financial intelligence in order to turn them into savvy eyes. His class sizes are growing rapidly. The pattern becomes the same one I recommend and Rich Dad recommends. Coming from an E to a B or an S to a B, and once you have a solid B, you move into the I because B's invest in I's. Definitely. So if you understand what a bee is and how it runs and how its systems and what's good and bad and the pluses and minuses of a bee, you can understand and evaluate the investment that you make. So that way you're an intelligent investor instead of just throwing money at it or going into the stock market casino, as it were. A personal franchise. That's why today I recommend that people consider network marketing. Many famous franchises cost $1 million or more to buy. Network marketing is like buying a personal franchise, often for less than $200. I know much of network marketing is hard work, but success in any quadrant is hard work. That's the sweat equity he talks about. I personally generate no income as a network marketing distributor. I researched several network marketing companies and their compensation plans. While doing my research, I did join several companies just because their products are so good and I use them as a consumer. So products and services are good and he used them definitely. So they're good stuff. One the one recommendation I have for finding a good organization to help you move to the right side of the cash flow quadrant is to focus on not so much the product, but on the education and organization, the education organization offers. There are network marketing organizations that only are interested in having you sell their system to your friends. And there are organizations that primarily interested in educating you and developing you in helping you succeed. From my research into network marketing, I found two important things you can learn through their programs that are essential to become a successful bee. And that is the goal, to become a successful bee. To be successful, you need to learn to overcome your fear of being rejected and to stop worrying about what other people say and think about you. So many times I've met people who hold themselves back simply because of what their friends might say if they did something different. That's the old herd mentality. If you're stepping outside the herd, oh, it's bad and scary out there. I know because I was the same way. Coming from a small town where everyone knew that everyone else was up to. If someone didn't like what you were doing, the whole town heard about it and it made your business they made their business your business or your business their business. One of the things I told myself over and over was, what you think of me is none of my business. What's most important is what I think about myself. Wow, that's wisdom. One of the reasons my rich dad had encouraged me to work in sales for the Xerox Corporation for 4 years wasn't because he liked copiers, but it's because he wanted me to overcome my shyness and fear of rejection. To be successful, you must also learn to lead people. Working with different kinds of people is the hardest thing about business. The people I've met who were successful in any business are those who are natural leaders. The ability to get along with and inspire people is a priceless skill, a skill that can be learned. As I said, the transition from the left side to the right side isn't so much what you do, but who you have to become. If you learn how to handle rejection, how not to be affected by what other people think of you, and how to lead people, you'll find prosperity. So I endorse any network marketing organization that primarily is committed to developing you as a human being rather than developing you into a salesperson. I would seek organizations that are proven with a successful track record, a distribution system, and a compensation plan that has been successful for years. Have a business opportunity that you can succeed with, believe in, and share confidently with others. Have ongoing long-term education programs to develop you as a human being. Self-confidence is vital on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. Have a strong mentor program. You want to learn from leaders, not advisors. You want to learn from people who are already leaders, who are on the right side and who want to succeed, and I want you to succeed, excuse me. Have people you respect and enjoy to begin with. If the organization meets those 5 criteria, then only then look at the product. Too many people look at the product instead of the business system and the organization behind the product. If some of the organizations, in some of the organizations I looked into, their pitch was the product sells itself. It's easy. If you're looking to be a salesperson, an S, then the product is the most important thing. But if you're developing into a long-term B, then the system, lifelong education, and the people are more important. A friend and colleague of mine who is knowledgeable in this industry reminded me about the value of time, one of our most precious assets. A true success story in network marketing company is when your commitment of time and hard work in the short term results in a significant long-term passive income. Once you've built a strong organization below you, you can stop working and your revenue stream will continue from the efforts of the organization you've built. That is a true B because the system works even when they're not there. The most important key to success with network marketing company is a long-term commitment on your part, as well as the organization's part, in order to mold you, the person running the business, into the business leader you want to become. A system is a bridge to freedom. Being homeless was not quite an experience I want to repeat. Yet for Kim and me, the experience was priceless. Today, the freedom and security are found not so much in what we have, but in what who wait, back it up. Today, freedom and security are found not so much in what we have, but in what we know we can create with confidence. Since that time we have created or helped develop a real estate company, an oil company, a mining company, and 2 education companies. So the process of learning how to create successful systems was beneficial for us. Yet I don't recommend the process to anyone unless they truly want to go through it. Until only a few years ago, the possibility of a person becoming successful in the B quadrant was only available to those who were brave or rich. Kim and I must have been brave because we certainly weren't rich. Many people stay stuck on the left side because they feel the risk involved in developing their own system are too great. For them, it's smarter to remain safe and secure in a job. Today, primarily due to changes in technology, the risk in becoming a successful business owner is greatly reduced, and the opportunity to build your own or leverage an existing business system is available to virtually everyone. Franchises and network marketing took away the hard part of developing your own system. Wow. You acquire the rights to a proven system, and then your only job is to develop your people. Think of business systems as bridges that provide a path for you to cross safely from the left side to the right side of the cash flow quadrant. Okay, let's open it up. Let's stop the screen share. Let's see. All right. Anybody raise their hand? Let's hear from our field.
Front row, Jameson. I am front row. Hey, what an amazing read. I like what we read, but I like the way you read it and the way you put it together. You just got my mind thinking and appreciating the fact that you take the time to educate yourself to become, a tremendous reader. So, Jameson, I give you kudos on that. And here are some of the notes that I took from what you read for us this morning. Business systems. I think we are blessed to have a business system, which is network marketing. If we're going to talk about that, franchise, obviously, it's an overpriced business, and the reason why I say overpriced business, but people buy the system. So the product being sold is not really the main topic of a franchise, because if we're talking about McDonald's, the product they sell puts people in hospitals. Okay. I don't want to be negative in regards to what product they sell, but honest truth, I mean, I saw a movie about a guy that ate McDonald's for 30 days and he ended up in a hospital. I forgot what the movie's name was, but that's what happened, right? He ate McDonald's every single day when it comes to the product. But when it comes to the system, it's a success story system that the people that have the investment to do it, it's a money making machine, but there's a price to pay, and it's not sweat equity. Well, it is a little bit of sweat equity because you got to know the system that you're going to be investing your money into, and you got to go to McDonald University. So that it's out of the question for most people that that have jobs, traditional jobs, and that are barely making ends meet. C corporation. The C corporation, you got to get everything all legalized. You got to get everything all put together in regards to having a magical system that eventually sticks like a franchise. But because there's no experience in a system in place, you're really going to have to legalize a lot of things so you can have your system formula working for you. When it comes to network marketing, simple stuff. Very slow startup cost and with a great system in place. The problem with that is that it becomes so distracting to build it because the investment is so small. People want fast results without the transformation of what Robert Kiyosaki, what you read a little while ago. They don't want to put the effort in. So let's. I love what we have in regards to the company that we are in. We have mentors. The situation is plugging in people into the system so they can come learn. Like today, Saturday Reading Club. Give the time for your efforts to compound. Take massive action. Once you do that, then you can start duplicating the system. So I'm going to wrap up with this. The beautiful thing about network marketing is you don't have to hire employees because you don't pay salaries. You let the system dictate who's serious about it because it already has a compensation plan that we can all position ourselves into. So once we understand that and you build a network of people, now we can start investing in other ventures like Robert Kiyosaki alluded to, right? Give people the opportunity to put sweat equity to build something in a network marketing space. Once they learn how to build the compensation plan on network marketing space, now we can negotiate bigger deals with those people that are close to you. So that's what I'm taking from today. Appreciate it, Jameson. Great stuff. My God, you got me. I was like dreaming, thinking, imagining while you were reading, and that's what came to my mind. Thank you. Jameson, you're muted.
I lost the menu. It hid for me. Yes, amazing. And one of the great things about having you in a system of network marketing as a leader and leaders are readers and all that good stuff is that you give us example, like you talked about, find someone that's done it. Find a mentor, not a promoter, not some advisor. Find someone that's already been down the road and is willing to pull you up. And he talked about his friend that was a billionaire in network in real estate. And we have examples of leaders and we have team partners that are examples of people that have already gone on the other side of money, have already moved into the B and the I quadrant, and they're willing to reach back like this billionaire basically in real estate. And true, probably most of the time when they're reaching back, they want to help people and they want to help bring people along so that they can, like, as it were, like we talk about our some intermediates be on the beaches of the world. Well, if you're there all by yourself, who cares? That's like you're just like, this is great. But when you can bring friends and family with you because you've helped them understand how to go through a process and pull them up and how them develop into great people that can help lead people and to understand the systems, and then they themselves can help bring people up, just like you're saying with network marketing. It's an advantage that he also talks about in this book, how that's is how the rich teach their internal family. They bring them up by teaching them the systems and strategies, just like Rich Dad did to him. So it's an amazing way, a bridge, as he calls it in the book, of going from the E and the S to the B, and it takes systems, education, and developing into the person that can maintain that. It's like when the people that win the lottery, they get all that money, but they don't have the systems, the strategy, the advisors to maintain and grow that wealth, and they end up dissipating it. So thank you very much, Fernando. It was amazing. Anyone else out there?
One last thing, because I don't see anyone raising their hands yet. One last thing that you also read on was, failing in business. Robert Kiyosaki did that, right? He went through a failure stage of not building successful systems. And when I look back into my life, I've been with two other practice companies that we work with in this 31 years. My first experience was mismanaging finances. The company's still in business, but I ended up not leading properly and learning properly the process of what it takes to build strong organizations. That was my first experience. So I made a lot of money, but I ended up being in the middle of nowhere after 10 years. So that was my first experience. Took a 5 year of absence of the industry because I was so hurt, but I had to re-engage back because I didn't know any better to generate income but network marketing. So the second time around, which was 13 years of tremendous success, I managed my finances better. I improved the way I did business, which allowed me to appreciate the fact of growing an organization of 20,000 people strong. But it was a 13-year commitment. What happened here? The company failed. The CEO failed me. So we made the decision to transition from this experience of failure, bringing it to now to a platform that has allowed us to see greater things, greater systems, but we know that it takes time to build a network. So that's the thing that we all need to understand. If we're going to be in a network marketing arena space, there's got to be a lot of voluntary work. And I'll end with this. It's three stages in network marketing or sales. The first stage is voluntary work, no money or very little money. Once you break that barrier because you're molding yourself into a leader, something happens magical where Two, now you have hard work, dedication, strength, endurance, but now you got money being your ally. Once you get here, everybody wants to be like you, like a Michael Jordan, right? Mike, everybody, what was the song? I forgot the commercial. Want to be like Mike. So everybody wants to be like you because you're leading by example. So what happens? You inspire so many people. And lastly, you end up dropping your workload because your system is already proven where you work almost nothing, but the money and the system works for you. And we all want that. But we have to go through the first two stages of transformation. That's it. Back to you, James. Jameson, you're muted again.
Thank you. That's amazing. And I was literally going to ask you how your story about how you went through, and I'm sure like I've tried different things, tried to make money in different ways, and they were some were partly successful and some were not, but yet I was building my systems intelligence. And you definitely, it took, as he says, Rich Dad said, failure 3 times and you'll finally get it right. And he said, and I believe later on, he says that was one of the greatest learning experiences was to take a failing company and turn it right side up because you had to finally pull in the right mentors for the right information, get the right mindset to understand. Like even if you see a problem, if you don't have the right focus or intelligence to to understand it or get the right mentor to understand the problem, you'll never solve it. But you took the time. The company might have came out like the foundation of the company came out from underneath of you, but you still said, okay, I still have a team, I'm still growing, let's go. And then you just found the right vehicle to and company to take you where you needed to, where your dreams were going to. So you dreamed bigger than the failure that was presented to you, and you pushed through. That's amazing. Thank you, Fernando. I don't know if they have ability to unmute themselves. They can raise their hand just in case.
Yes, they do. It's
Okay.
they can unmute, they can open up cameras and microphones as well. We
Okay.
left it open, so if anybody just wants to raise their hand and open their camera, microphone, they can do that.
All right, let me proceed on. I'll load it up while I'm waiting. We have about 15 minutes or so to go. Looks like a nice meaty chapter. Mhm. Let's get, oops, I went too far. Ooh. All right. Wow, this button moves pretty fast. There we go. Okay, mic is on. Systems are up. Oh, and just one little thing going back really quick to that different types. I was trying to find out from AI, like, oh, go, okay, keep that fine. Um, the different types of business systems, and they talk about a social, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fernando. There's different ways of actually becoming a network marketing professional or business systems, and we're not giving out legal or financial advice, but this is just what I learned on the internet that you can all learn from. So you have your sole proprietorship, and then you have a partnership, and then you have a limited liability company. And there's also the S Corp and the C Corp, and your tax professional will give you the advantages and disadvantages of those corporations or business systems. But there's advantages and disadvantages that you can look up. And a lot of times you can do it DBA or doing business as your own name, and then or have a company name for limited liability opportunities. So that's what I want. I saw a little bit of things in there about that, trying to find out the different business systems too. So let's go ahead and go into chapter 5, the 5 levels of investors. And I did a little research, and he has up to 7 now, so it's pretty interesting. Here we go. Investing is the key to financial freedom. My poor dad often said investing is risky. My rich dad often said Being financially uneducated is risky. Today, most people know they should invest. The problem is that most people, like my poor dad, believe investing is risky. And investing is risky if you lack financial education, experience, and guidance. Learning to invest is important because investing is the key to financial freedom. 5 things happen to people who do not invest or who invest poorly. 1, they work hard all their life. 2, they worry about money all their lives. 3, they depend on others, such as family, a company, pension, or government to take care of them. 3, the boundaries of their lives are defined by money. 5, they will not, they will not know what true freedom is. Rich Dad often said, "You will never know true freedom until you achieve financial freedom." By this, he meant that learning to invest is more important than learning a profession. He said, when you learn a profession, let's say to be a doctor, you learn how to work for money. Learning to invest is learning how to have money work for you. The moment that you have money working for you, you have your ticket to freedom. He also said, the more money you have working for you, the less you pay in taxes if you're a true investor. I'm going to go over one little thing if I can find it really quick. So, a W-2 of somebody that's an employee has the highest tax bracket of approximately 28 to 33% in taxes. Some people say up to 50%. A LLC, 1099, self-employed person or a business has the taxes of approximately the net effects is around 18 to 23%. So, and what with that, by the way, with the W-2, they take your taxes out first, and then you get to live on what's left over, and then try to get it back at the end. With a 1099 or a business, you spend all you can legally, ethically, and morally through the tax structure, and then you get to pay on what's left over. So your earned income is so low because if you do this correctly, you can basically have almost zero income virtually. And then to be in investments, the capital gains tax is approximately 15% or less. So just by taxes alone, by having a business, a home-based business even, gets you in a better tax structure to take advantage of all the opportunities as being a business owner. Learning to invest. My rich dad began preparing me for the iQuadrant at an age of 9 using the game of Monopoly as a teaching tool. Over and over again, he would say, one of the great formulas for wealth is found in the game of Monopoly. I forgot one thing that I forgot to mention it back about the tax structure. It's not how much money you make, it's how you make your money, meaning W-2 or E, an S, or a B and I. That's how you make the biggest difference. One of the great formulas for wealth is found in the game of Monopoly. I always remember the formula: 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. The game of Monopoly is a game of cash flow. For example, if you had 1 green house on a property you own and you received $10, that was $10 a month in cash flow. 2 houses gave you $20. 3 houses gave you $30, and a red hotel, $50. More greenhouses and more red hotels meant more cash flow, less work, less taxes, and more freedom. A simple game, but an important lesson. Rich Dad played Monopoly in real life. He would often take his son and me to visit his greenhouses that would one day become a big red hotel right on Waikiki Beach. As I grew up and watched my rich dad play the game of Monopoly in real life, I learned many valuable lessons about investing. Some of these lessons are: investing is not risky. Investing is fun. Investing can make you very, very rich. More importantly, investing can set you free, free from the struggle of learning earning a living, and worrying about money. In other words, if you were smart, you could build a pipeline of cash flow for a lifetime. In other words, if you were smart, you could build a pipeline of cash flow for life. A pipeline that would produce cash in good times and bad, in market booms and market crashes. Your cash flow will increase automatically with inflation and at the same time allow you to pay less in taxes. I am not saying real estate is the only way to invest. I use the game of Monopoly simply as an example of how the rich get richer. A person can earn income from stocks via dividends, from bonds via interest, or from oil, books, and patents via royalties. In other words, there are many ways to financial freedom. Looks like we have 4 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and stop here and we can pick it back up at the beginning of this chapter 5. I'm opening up for any more or ahas.
Wait, but how do I get off this thing? Hi, Jameson. You're doing a great, outstanding job reading for us today. It's Monifa out of Queens, New York. Hi, good morning. Out of
Good
Queens,
morning.
New York, checking in. I like you just now when you were reading. I think you were breaking in. I'm driving a truck, so I'm just trying to make out what's being said. But
You're
I heard you like
multitasking.
breaking down. I think you were breaking down like the percentages of taxes that an employee gets, a business owner or investor gets, or whatever. And my aha moment was like, dang, I am in the right place at the right time. Like, how on earth did Brian House, make this business up from this book? Like, I was just like tripping just now for a second here. I was like, this is just right and so in line. Like, what we're doing, everybody needs to do it, need to apply these principles, because guess what, this is what's going to get us to financial freedom. So now it'll lessen crime, it would everybody will be in abundance, aligned with the word of God, because he meant for us to be in an abundant life, not a life of lack. So, following these things, man, we'll get there, and I'm like, Brian House, with my finger up. Wait a second. Can I take my camera off? I don't know. With my finger up, what did you do here?
He was definitely like that billionaire and real estate investor. He's done it. He's made so much money. He doesn't need the money
Right.
to pull
He's just
people up.
teaching us to pull us with him,
So he needs a vehicle, some
Yeah.
kind of a vehicle to pull people up. And
Yes.
and it's literally the yellow brick road. Just follow the road, stay on the
Just
path,
follow. That's
and
it.
and learn how to stay on the path, and you'll fail your way into success. But
Absolutely.
just like driving like you're doing is literally a failure. You're always failing, but you're always going, well, where am I going? And you just keep on steering back in the center, steering back in the center, and
That's
you
it.
you basically fail your way to success when you're driving. You just don't understand it, but consciously, but you're doing that every day.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much,
You're
Jameson. You're
welcome.
awesome and you rock. Let's
Thank
go.
you.
Cassandra, your hands up. Good morning. Wow, Monifa.
Good morning, Mr. Jameson. Awesome reading this morning. I was gonna say, kind of piggyback what Monifa was saying about business and about, Brian House kind of gave us the blueprint. It's kind of gave us laid it out. We have everything we need to build our business. It's hard now because even if I don't want to do a business, I don't even want to go back to normal. I mean, I just want to stay where I'm at. I just want to keep building, keep growing, and keep doing what I need to do. I'm awesome reading. I always get a lot of information about how to be successful in life. And I was talking to somebody the other day. We do need a home-based business. We do need to have other resources and how to grow our income. And it's not about getting a quick, being rich quick. It's being developing right. It's developing your wealth and right, and learning different strategies of how to grow and protect. So, I mean, this whole program is nothing but amazing. It keeps me on my toes and keeps me want to have a vision even more, to understand what I need to do and kind of give me a layout on how to present or do something. So thank you again for the reading this morning.
There you go, Susanna. You know, one of the things that I remember and that you brought out is it's, and it says it in here, it's not about time. It's not about the individual things. It's who you become as a person. Is that is the difference between being like an employee and becoming an S and becoming a B. It's who you become internally, how you think, how you feel, how you express, how you lead, how you work with people. The biggest development, the biggest asset you have is you. Because everything
Right,
starts and ends with you.
exactly.
That is like I just got that. It's like how, and that's what they talk about, iron sharpens iron, and it's literally and the community and the connections that we develop and build along the way that just make us the best person possible, and that is attractive to people because they want what you have and who you are and become closer and aligned with that, and that's just an amazing thing. Thank you very much.
I totally agree. Thank you. But also, I was like, just also think it's like you got to find where your strength is. You got to find who you are. And like I said, I mean, I can go and work in healthcare all day long, work with children. It's like at the end of the day, you got to say, what is your purpose? Who are you and what are you here for? God gave us purpose in life, and, and gave us strength in different things that we do. We just got to find it, and we got to find our niche. So thank you so much again.
That's just what you just said. And I've worked in the nursing industry, and I've worked in, not childcare, but one of the interesting things is a top leader in one of this network marketing companies. He was trained to be an English teacher. He's still teaching. He's just teaching financial education now. And I've heard of many stories of teachers that have gone on to be in their own business, in their own practice, and actually go on to develop greater and greater systems. So it's take what you have, the intelligence and the wisdom you have, because every that's called intellectual capital and experience and wisdom, and just take what you have and build upon it. Whatever you have your experience and build upon it, find a way of creating that into a business, and or um enhance the current business that you're working with. Like leverage that. That's definitely about leverage. Wonderful. I see
Thank
Elisa's up.
you.
Jameson, good morning. Good morning, everyone. After listening to this powerful woman, oh my God, they are very excited all the time, and I love that. And Jameson, I believe and I understand that when we talk to people, we can see that everybody wants to live a great lifestyle, but they don't believe that it's a system that can give them that lifestyle. It's hard because you know what? We think in our mind that I have to work hard. I have to work hard. They don't believe that you can work with a team. They cannot believe that. It's hard to believe that because we think for so long time that we have to work hard. And now everything is, open to everyone. And it's scary because you said, wow, I can work with people and I can have that money, that amount of money. This is not true, right? People think like that. But we can see in this book that if we understand how the system works and how the opportunity that we have in our hands can be the plus for everything, we are in the right path. Like Monifa said, we are in the right path. We cannot be tired of exposing the information that we have. This reading club is great because we can connect with people who are changing their mind. We are changing our mind. We are transforming ourselves, and that people need outside. That's why I believe this is one of the most great activities we have in English and in Spanish too. Thank you, Jameson. You are doing a great job. Thank you.
Wow, I mean, Lisa, you are one of the most powerful business leaders we have, and we love that you're bilingual and you can do both in English and in Spanish. And I see all the leadership that you provide to the Spanish community, and it's amazing. And you are a powerful woman, showing how you can grow into that power, and it's amazing. I've loved seeing you grow and grow and grow, and you continue to grow. So I'm gonna see you up there like, hey, pull me up.
We see you at the top, Jameson. We see you
That's
at the
right.
top together. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, it looks like Fernando, I don't know if anyone else is out there to go forward. Are you there, Fernando?
I am right here preparing the training on the conversation we're having, the reading. I'm adding a lot of good gold nuggets for our training after our conversation, Jameson. Wow. I mean, we're blessed to have you all. You guys, that have given us so many ideas, Manifa, Cassandra, Elisa, yourself, by reading. I become a sponge. I listen, and then I start to imagine. See, the key about what we do, Jameson, is we gotta learn to imagine, and we gotta set failure as part of winning. Most of us don't like the failure aspects, but there's no success without failing. Okay, that's why one book that eventually we should find, and I should go back to, so we can maybe even put that into practice in a reading club, is Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. The failing forward aspects is what we need. I mean, you just read it this morning. Robert Kiyosaki and his wife, they were homeless, right? And they did what they had to do, and they even said they had their story. We're building a system. So in failure is where the opportunity exists. But if you keep quiet, you're not going to fail forward. You're going to be a failure, right? So we have to comply with the uncomfortness of failing forward, being laughed at, being told you're crazy, people not answering or responding back to a negotiation conversation. So we have to fail forward. There's no other alternative, and our MWR system allows us to do that. And the reason why I'm bringing that back is because Monifa talked about how someone else has paved the way for us. We just gotta get on the road, get in our lane, keep our head straight, don't look to the left, don't look to the right, because you're gonna go crash, and do your thing. So, Jameson, thank you so much for allowing us your time. It's amazing. That's why we love for you to read for us, because you become a storyteller. You study the numbers. You do other. You're even letting us know about corporations, LLCs, and what's best. I have an S corporation, and because that's what they advised me to do before I was in MWR, and I think it was a good alternative. I ended up paying like $1,000 for it, but it was a great alternative. It's really helping me with taxes. But I got to learn this, Jameson. Maybe we can do a Saturday training just on that alone, because that alone has so much value for all of us that are a part of our MWR platform. We do have a way to get an LLC with the company, But if there's ways that we can have better opportunities to save money in taxes, I want to pay the least amount of taxes as possible, even though a lot of folks that are W-2 get upset that we pay less taxes than them, because education is key. And you supply that, you provide that today. I'm curious about what you got there because I saw the paperwork.
Right, and that was just a basic AI search. But the key thing is that is one of the things that our opportunity is one of the basic ways to reduce taxes and to gain advantage and to pay taxes last is to simply have a home-based business. That's the simplest thing. And you can write off your everyday expenses, meals, but that's back to financial intelligence. That's back to learning from people that are doing it, how to take advantage of what the government's already saying. If you do this, you can have this discount. So it's like going to the store having coupons. It's coupons from the government. It's like, yay! But you have to go in there and you have to take advantage of them. And yes, you could go down and do it anywhere else, but if you need both the opportunity and the education or the advice, the mentor, as Robert Kiyosaki says, no advisors, mentors, because they've done it before. So that's really critical. And just simply having a home-based business is a start, and then how to take advantage of a system to maximize those advantages is definitely what we need is to, and then how to bring leverage as we talk about in the future. And this is one of the things that I could bring right now. I like to think of synergy.